Let's get it.
Cheers.
Prolific One. Cheers.
Salud.
Welcome to Cypher.
Thank you for having me.
You know,
Appreciate
fantastic,
it,
man. Thank you for coming in. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to cover. I'm really excited about
Yeah.
this. I've been looking forward to this. We met, for everyone that doesn't know, we met about a month ago now,
Yeah,
maybe 6
definitely.
weeks, something like that,
Yeah,
at the
Chelsea
EO
Music
Dub
Hall.
show, Chelsea Music Hall. I'll get to that a little later. I got some
Yeah,
questions for you.
yeah, the team.
Live show was off the hook, man.
Facts.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
I want to get started real quick and just ask how long you've been rapping.
How long have I been rapping,
Yeah.
man? I've been doing EO Dub for
A little
20.
closer to the, here
Yeah,
we
let's
go.
get over here.
Let's do
so,
it. Nice and intimate like.
hey, yo. Hey, never.
Hey, yo.
So rapping, I gotta say, over 25 years. You know,
Yeah.
I've been doing the EO Dub thing for 21 years. We celebrated our anniversary, in August, and so, yeah, I would say 25, 26 years.
Fantastic.
Formally like being like I'm a rapper. I'm doing
Right.
this MC thing,
Absolutely.
which is more appropriate of a description, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts.
Fantastic. How'd you get your name? Prolific One.
Prolific One, man. So I can recall being in a class in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and the name is always a thing, right? For every MC, like your
Oh,
name
yeah.
is everything. It's
Yeah.
just how you introduce yourself to the world.
Right.
So a name is everything, and I had been searching for a name. Everybody knew me as O. My name is Omar, and
Mhm.
so like O is always freestyling, always spitting bars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Partying, having fun. But when I was like formally like, yo, I need a name that's powerful. I sat in a class. I think it was like a sociology class or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the professor said the word prolific, and I was
Mhm.
like, yo, prolific. That sounds right. And
Yeah.
looked it up, found out that it means fruitful. Bountiful, just putting out much product,
Yeah.
and that's what I was about. I was definitely writing a lot, working on my craft and honing the skills, so it felt appropriate. But
Mm-hmm.
when you do hip hop or when you do graffiti or anything, like you either tag up your crew on the
Yeah.
back end of it, or you add the one to it so people know
Right.
like you're the first of your name.
Yeah.
And so just wanting to be the first, wanting to be affiliated with being number one, I had to add the one to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a creative, so I couldn't
That's
stop
right.
there, right?
Of course.
Coming up in the Lower East Side, there was a crew that was the One Team, WON. And One Team was getting up. I would see them all like getting it popping in the neighborhood. I was like, I like that. It's one, but it's one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like I threw the E at the end of it, and I was like, if I could get people to follow along and not call me Wone.
Right. That's true.
You know what I mean? That'd be the hurdle.
Right.
But I think if it's befitting. I stuck
Yeah.
with it. I changed my name to Propane for a while.
Yeah.
Those of you who know me from the EO Dub set,
For sure.
just because I wanted something that I guess felt a little more edgy or
Right.
hardcore at the time.
Yeah.
But when I came back to music, Prolific One, I got back to my roots and my
Right.
original name. It looks like we have.
I know I just
a
spilled
little
some
bit
water.
of a
Miles, I just spilled a
situation.
little bit of water on the
Got a
table, so this is going to be on the
situation out
blooper
here.
reel. We'll fix it later, yeah.
So I got my name from a sociology class from a professor who I can't even recall
Yeah.
his name, and there it is. You want to
Fantastic.
take a minute to get this?
Yeah, don't worry about
situated?
this. Everything's dry. We'll edit this out later, but
Do your
Sorry
thing.
about that.
Yeah, so my people, what's up, yo? You see, we over here. We rocking right now with the Cypher podcast. Boom. The homies all here.
fantastic.
Had a little bit of a snafu,
Technical difficulty.
Technical difficulty. But yo,
It's all right, we
out here.
good.
We still working. We still cranking.
Fantastic,
Still cranking.
fantastic. It's got to be a little interesting, right? Something's got to happen to
It's
make
gotta
it
be,
to
you
make
know,
it more fun,
More than just the basics when it's pro in
Exactly.
town.
Exactly,
Hey.
exactly. Well, look, the one thing that I was really interested in is I see on
Mhm.
your merch, I see this on your website, kind of on your Instagram and shit. Like I see the number 121 a lot.
Yeah.
Eye to eye. I think
to
that,
eye.
yeah. So talk a little bit about that. What does that mean? Where
Yeah.
did that come from?
So, young MC coming up, early college life days, out here sparring with other rappers and ciphers and always, looking to sharpen the sword, came, connected with my brother Vice Versus.
Right.
My brother Vice Versus is a close friend of my guy Stead, who was living in the Lower East Side. We were at Hunter. We were hanging out. We were spitting bars.
Yeah.
And so Vice and I formed a group ultimately called Eye to Eye, Introduction to Insanity.
Hell yeah.
And it was a me and him thing, and then it ended up being me, him, and my man Ego Trip. And then my guy Slane joined the crew. And then from there, at one point, we had like 5 or 6 other MCs. So we I think this was like a Wu era thing
Yeah.
where it wasn't just like the group.
Right.
It was like you needed a posse.
Sounds like a collective almost.
So we had
you
the
know?
collective.
That's what I'm talking
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Introduction to insanity,
Yeah.
right? And my man Vice always being creative and always taking things to the next level.
Mhm.
Everything was broken down. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was eye to eye. It was introduction to insanity, but it was also initiating new styles amongst the negligent industry's troubled youth. And then eye to eye is also eye to eye. Everything you ever thought would occur exists in your essence.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
just
Everything you
numerically,
ever
the
thought,
1 2 1
yeah.
was easy.
Huh. That's great. You're gonna have to write that down for me afterwards.
I mean, it's
everything.
everywhere. If
Yeah.
you look at the team, like it's out there.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So the 121, yeah, that's the connection to that. But you know, the 1, the 2, the 1 is 3. You
Yeah.
know, it's the 3 6 9 thing. You
Yeah,
know, we
yeah,
could
yeah.
get all
we can go
we
all the way with
into
that. Well,
to numerology with
it's
it.
funny. You talk about the Lower East Side a little bit. I'm from around there. I'm
Right.
on. We can bleep this part out, but I'm on Delancey and Orchard. I'm
Okay.
like right there. What about
yeah.
you?
Yeah. Well, I'm from 6th Street
Yeah.
between Avenue B and C, Alphabet City.
Absolutely.
But I grew up in Baruch Housing, which is just off of Delancey. You know what I mean? Just off the bridge.
Do you know?
Columbia
know
Street.
Forta Block? Do you know who that is? Forta Block. He's
Nah,
another
nah,
rapper.
nah.
He's from the same Baruch Housing. He's from that same area.
All right.
Yeah,
Shout
for
the
real.
homies from the neighborhood.
Shout out
yo.
Forta Block. I just did an interview with him like right before Christmas. That's how
amazing.
I kind of met him, and yeah, he had a dope style too. But he's from the Lower East Side as well. So you're my
It
second
is.
guy.
Yo,
from the Lower
LES,
East
we
Side.
everywhere.
I know, right?
That's
We're
the
all
thing,
over.
man. We're in
It's
this
fantastic.
thing. Yeah, bro.
You know, one of the interesting things is I saw on your website that a lot of your art on your like T-shirts, the design, all comes from local artists in New York. That's a big
Yeah,
Lower East Side thing as well. Because when I moved into town, at least this area, I used to live up in Harlem, and then I lived even in Washington Heights for a little while before I came down here. And it's all these art stores that
Yeah.
source from local artists nearby. You're doing kind of the same thing. Talk about how you kind of thought to do that and what it's like working
I'm
with
deep
these
in the
artists.
art community, though. That's
Let's
the thing
talk
about
about
it, right?
Let's talk about it.
So I had stopped doing music for a long time,
Mm.
and I got to my regular life shit and paying bills and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But always had an affinity for art, specifically like street art and graffiti. Just coming
Yeah.
from the Lower East Side, that's part of the
For sure.
DNA of the neighborhood. You know,
Absolutely.
So when you talk about late '80s, '90s, and you see like Lee Hignones, you see people, you know, you see the Keith Herrings, but you also see, you know, all of the local graph heads and legends doing
Right.
their thing. That kind of shapes and molds you. So like I've started doing street art photography maybe 20 years ago,
Nice.
and just capturing it. Like you walk by some shit, it's inspiring, you know, and created a feed out of that, and that ended up being my Instagram handle.
Nice.
And one day I'm sitting home and I'm looking at it as a body of work, and I'm saying, this is kind of a gallery show.
Right, 100%.
And I had established a hashtag called Crack Image Crew.
Yeah, and there's tons of galleries in the area too.
Yeah.
Big art scene.
The art scene has really exploded in the last, 5 to 10, but the art scene has always been downtown. You know what I mean? If you look at the history of especially, contemporary urban art, you
Right.
know, that's downtown.
Yeah.
Like, that's the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
So the long and the short is I started a movement called Shooter Street Art.
Yeah.
Shooter Street Art, we do a street art scavenger hunt. And so I started recruiting different artists to participate in that,
Yeah.
different street art photographers who really are like just dope humans, and it became my community.
That's so
and
cool.
I became a community organizer in a way, putting together the scavenger hunts, putting together the artists and the photographers and all of the people around that.
Right.
And so when I came back to music, I felt like it was really, really important
Yeah.
that there was a representation of the art community with the visual aesthetic, but also that the music that I create is creative and visual. You know, I like to think of myself as a visual artist, but
Yeah.
the medium is words.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's interesting how you kind of talk about that visual art, because one of my next questions is going to be, how does that art that you use inspire your music,
Yeah.
or is it kind of the other way around? Do you make the music and then you think, all right, I got to find something that fits this vibe, or is it kind of just like it works kind of together in a weird way?
Yeah, I think it's together in a weird way. I
Yeah.
think when I'm writing bars, I'm painting in my mind. At least I'm seeing like snapshots and I'm trying to articulate that. Right.
Yeah.
I think that just coming up around that and being influenced by that, that's kind of what inspired the style.
Right.
And then with regard to the art and how that comes into it, like I'll usually sit down with a homie or somebody who I admire, and I'll say like I have a record or I have an idea, or I have something that I think the style
Right.
that you manifest would be perfect for.
Right.
And I'll send them the music. We'll have a conversation or two, and I just let them run. Like, I don't want to be involved in their interpretation of the music.
Yeah.
So usually the music comes first.
Yeah.
But it's usually given to somebody who
Mhm.
I feel a certain way for that particular project.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Do you reach out to these guys on Instagram, or how do you find them? Is
Real
it just
life.
re-
In
the
real
streets?
life, bro. I'm
Yeah.
outside.
Hell yeah,
Are you
man.
kidding me, bro?
Well, see, that's
Like, we
it's,
go to the art shows. We go to, Basel.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, we're at all of the mural shows, the gallery shows,
Hell yeah.
sticker shows. Like, we pull up.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
good.
And I say we because, like, it's me, but, like, my fam is always
Right.
outside, too.
It's interesting too, because when I first got here and I started to do interviews and things like that, I was only finding rappers on Instagram to interview. But then I started to maybe meet a couple people, get in with the right circles, and then I started to do shows. I was going to the EO Dub, or you know what I mean. If there was the beatboxer Zanzi, who I think did it part of his
Zanzi,
heavy
yeah.
view. Yeah, he had a beatboxing show that I almost went out to, but I ended up traveling. I couldn't make it, but just like finding different events like that, you know what I mean? So that's definitely where you find people. But I asked because, I was looking online and I was seeing some incredible art, and I was like, I wonder where he finds them.
Yo,
You know?
So at first I started online, right?
Yeah.
And then I started reaching out to people, and it's funny because you got to be outside and you got to know somebody, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
You got to have a guy.
And I learned that recently because I interviewed someone, and he was like, "Yo, come to this EO Dub show," and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And then I showed up, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how we met. So
And that's how you
how it
your
works.
guy puts you on. It's all a
Exactly.
bunch of dots that connect, right?
Yeah, Mandela Skia, he was the one that I knew. Yeah,
There it is.
Yeah,
Boom.
he's a
Fam.
good guy. Yeah,
Listen,
100%.
that's how this thing works, right?
Exactly.
It's the energy that you're putting out there,
Mhm.
right? It's the vibration, it's the frequency. A like is attracting like.
100%.
So when I go outside, my energy is always the same. I'm Omar. I'm Pro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know me as both now, right?
Yep.
When I'm an organizer and I'm working in that community, I was Omar for a long time, and they just knew me as some guy who loves street art, who
Yeah.
puts together shit.
Yeah,
who,
and
like,
occasionally raps.
Nah, never,
Right.
never.
Oh, right, you were
Yo,
taking a
big
break from
facts,
rap.
like-
That's right.
My art community is not based on me being an MC or having any affiliation with anything. Right?
Mhm,
It's
right.
just on the strength of me loving it
Right.
and wanting to do something dope and manifesting it and executing it.
Have you ever thought, like, I have a friend who also does, like, he's an actor and he wants to be a comedian and he does hip hop as well. He calls himself a creative rather than like an
Yeah.
MC or a rapper.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
you consider yourself maybe just
Artist,
a creative
maker,
artist, just
visionary,
creator in general?
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how the
Yeah.
lines can get blurred, because you
It's
think rapper,
hard.
it's
You
like,
can't put a cap on it.
oh, he only does one thing, but rappers don't just do one thing anymore.
don't.
That's dead. That's
And
been
that's the
dead
shit,
since
bro.
Diddy. That's been dead for
I
a
was
long
working
time.
with the bro the other day on like a press junket or whatever,
Right.
like a little kit. And he was challenging me to be like, yo, multidisciplinary artist.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, like, what do you mean, bro? And he's like, well, listen, like, you just co-directed 2 music videos. You pretty much curated all the artwork for the album.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing all of the songs, producing them, executive producing them, you're writing all of the music. Like, it's not just you're spitting some bars.
Right.
It's not like you just rapping.
Right.
You're
Right.
doing it all.
Absolutely.
So
Especially early on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're starting your career, or even
you're
when you're
doing
trying to
graphical,
learn.
like I'm
doing
doing
everything.
videos on my phone all
Right.
night. You know what I mean? I'm making flyers for 3 different events.
Yeah.
The shit stacks up. So yeah, we're gonna go with it. Prolific Wone, multidisciplinary artists of the ages. You know what I mean?
That's
We're doing
right.
all that. We talking our shit.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
Just something that I thought of, when I was looking at some of the art that's on some of the T-shirts that you design. Have you ever thought about selling some of those designs as NFTs and then, maybe
Yeah.
giving money back to the
I don't
artist?
want to talk about my rollout for 2022, but it is digital.
All right.
We're going digital.
We'll turn the camera
Like,
off and then
you know
we'll.
what I'm saying? My crypto's up.
Yeah,
You know
right?
what I mean?
Yeah.
I got some partners.
Yeah.
We're having conversations.
Yeah.
But yes and yes and yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
And
so that means we're just gonna have to have you back in sometime.
I'll be back.
Sometime in the next few months to talk more about
We
this.
could talk all about it.
Yeah, we
because
will.
the rollout for the album is bigger than just the music, right?
Yeah, this is a perfect transition because the album is what I want to talk about
Yeah,
next.
Doug. So
let's
In the
get
Red
it.
is out. I just got the green light today that it's been delivered to all the distribution houses. So when they start playlisting it or putting it out there,
Hell yeah.
it'll be available for you guys. But
That's
I
right.
listen to it on Apple Music, on the way here to give myself my first stream.
Yeah, that's
theoretically.
right. Fantastic.
And we outside.
Well, you sent it to me. Thank you for sending me
that,
it. You know what? I really enjoyed listening to it. I have a couple of favorites.
All right.
Before I get into that, I want to say, I listened to some of your past stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I really thought that this album gave me a different kind of sound. At least listening to it. Talk about maybe some of the maturity that you feel like you've had between this project and the last one.
Yeah, between the Deep Blue, which was my first solo LP,
Right.
that I put out, 2007 maybe. I mean, this joint is years old. So now, the big difference is life, bro.
Fantastic.
Facts and experience, exposure.
Yeah.
You go through shit. You climb mountains and you fall off of cliffs and you land in valleys. And I wanted to be honest about what I wanted to say as a human being. And I didn't want to just be like a rapper doing a rap album, right?
Yeah.
To the earlier point, I wanted to be an artist just making an album. And so the R&B parts, all of the melodies, all of that stuff is all stuff that I wrote.
Yeah.
And sat with fam, and like they really kind of took on my personality in a lot of places on it. And it's just like crazy to be able to like write something and like tell the person the words, but for them to sing with the conviction and to give up the emotion is a whole nother thing. So it's like 100%. Having a bunch of empaths on the album with me and shit, 100%. Killing it. But
it's crazy.
That's what we do as artists.
That's right. I mean, you sent it to me yesterday or the day before. I've been listening to it for about a day and a half, couple days, and I love Hot Food. That's a great song. Food. Beat is dope. Song's just wavy, I loved Healing. That was probably my favorite song on the album.
Shout Jetty A-Track,
right?
Shout. Healing.
Right? Because that's a great song.
The vibe
I want to tell you why.
Track is, talk to me about it.
The vocals layered sounded really cool. The way that you had all those, you were just talking about it, different vocals, harmonies, melodies, all that. But what I thought it did was it did a really good job of wrapping up the album.
Yeah.
You have so many things that you're talking about on this project, which is why it's interesting when you say, I'm not a rapper making a rap album, I'm an artist making a hip-hop album, And I totally agree with that. Lots of messages on this album. You cover a lot of topics. I wrote down relationships, believing in yourself, like you said, kind of mountains and valleys. There's there's lots of ups and downs on this album while you're listening to it. What was the main message that you kind of felt like you were getting across?
Yeah, bro. I really wanted to just tap into people's emotional side. So for me, this is not a message album. This is a therapy album.
Okay.
For me, the last 2.5 years of life have been painful. You know what I mean? I feel like not only did we have things happening externally to us in the world with the pandemic and, just the usual life shit that we all go through, but me suffering from personal loss, of loved ones, people in my family, relationships falling apart that you were committed to. Having falling outs that are profound and leave an impact on you that you can't help but to emote if you're human, right? Yeah. And a lot of times the emotion that people convey is anger, right? So you get a lot of people making angry music that's kind of like, it's one note, right? Because in terms of like what's acceptable, like people aren't comfortable with different range of emotions sometimes in music, right? So for me, I wanted to be vulnerable. I wanted to be honest. I wanted people to hear the bars and to hear the pain. And so like to your point, Healing, man, we did Healing like 4 months ago maybe.
Yeah.
And it was like the last record that we recorded. I had other material that I just didn't want to put in. I felt like so to do it, you got to balance this like,
right.
I want to tell you guys a lot, but it still has to like sonically translate, and you still have to want to make it palatable somewhat for listeners.
Yeah.
So shit I had to cut. So Healing was like this last minute thing. My brother Jetty A-Track, incredible artist that we're working out of the same studio. We're part of a collective that's making a whole bunch of like the new catalog is just like hot food times a billion. Big facts.
Let's go.
So but when I heard it and when it was done, and shout Rare Calm who produced it and Neat Scotch who engineered it. Yeah. I was like, yo, this sums up the whole In the Red concept, right? Because In the Red, like you run a business, you look at your books every year or every quarter.
Yep.
And when you're bleeding money, you're in the red. Like,
right.
This is a fact. My life was at that point. It's like I'm unemployed. My joint don't want to fuck with me. My kids don't want to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Everybody hates me. Not on some like sad song shit, but like, yo, you hit lows.
Yep.
Bounce back. We back up. Hey, we killing right now.
Right.
But I had to capture that snapshot. So
Yep.
when you hear Purple and when you hear Bouquet next, you'll be like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
It's more of a feeling album. And I didn't want to prove a point. I just wanted you to feel something. So if you heard Healing and you felt something, I did my job.
Mission accomplished.
I did my job, man.
Mission
if
accomplished.
you felt hot
right.
food and you were like, yeah, hot food, did
you
it.
know, I did.
Yeah.
I was at work. I was working today just from the home, and I put on music while I work, and especially on days when I got interviews or I've got, artists that I'm talking to, then I throw their album on, and I had your album on repeat. I threw it in my iTunes. I got it right here. It's already in my Apple Music.
In the Red Deluxe Edition. Artist Direct, yo.
That's right. Artist Direct.
Artist Direct.
That's how it goes here. That's how it goes.
Bro.
So I was feeling it, but it is vibey, right? Like you have all these different messages. Was it hard to balance, like, which songs you felt belong on this project, knowing that you cover so many topics,
Yeah. So, yes. And the harder thing was the balance between dark and light, right? Is because I don't want to take you down a fucking rabbit hole and have you like, damn, this is like
depressed for an hour and a half.
What the fuck is wrong with
right.
Pro? Like, so it's very methodical, right? I want to introduce you to myself, right?
Yep.
I want to give you a theatrical. It's like almost like a play, right?
Oh, it's totally the intro track.
Right?
Absolutely.
Piano, like big, just like solo, like I'm just fucking monologuing.
Yep, it's right there.
Yeah.
You're the subject of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it gives you like, all right, so who's this dude? All right, this is a guy that's been all these different people.
Right.
There's context for you. Hot food. I got to bring the level up now, right? So
absolutely.
We bouncing. Boom.
Yep.
Hot food. Magic.
Yep.
Like, come
Magic's
on, bro.
another good one. Yeah, I like that one. It's
you could play Magic in the car with your kids on the way to Disney, bro.
I know.
This the facts.
That's the wild part about it, right? And then however long it is, 30 minutes later, on a song like Healing, you're like, oh man, like you are in your feels a little bit, Yes. And so you're right, it is super methodical. Another song that I loved was Wedding. Yeah, just the reaction that you gave. How did that song come about?
But I'm like biased, right? Because I listened to the records. I've been listening to these records for like a year and a half.
How long did the album take to come together?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half?
Yeah.
What about Wedding?
So Wedding, so like the music comes first for me always because I haven't been making beats or like I'm not on the production side to that level. Mm-hmm. So I got that one from Clip Smoke and it was like, yo, this is the song that I want people to play at their wedding, right?
Hell yeah.
That's where this started from, right?
Yeah.
Like I hear that.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, this is like Boys to Men.
Right.
Like, ooh, I was seeing Jodeci on that shit.
Yeah, but
bro.
it goes into something different kind of, Like when you start rapping, like, you know what I mean?
Yo, they've been calling me LL Cool Pro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like, to lean into that shit. Like, all right, that's what we doing.
You did too, but it's a storytelling song.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
And I think that the beauty of the relationship and the coming together, right? Mm-hmm. And the union between two people, two souls. Yeah. Everybody understands that. You know what I mean? That shit resonates everywhere. And it's a wedding, but we don't have to be literal, right? Mm-hmm. They understand wedding is just the metaphor for that union.
Right. Right.
But and like I had to get personal with the shit. I had to give them some poetry. You know what I mean? I felt like
you talk about hardships in that song.
Yeah. You got to be honest. Yeah. You know what I mean? About the light and the dark. Right. But then I'm also talking about, sands on the beach and the hourglass shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to give you some romantic drama in this shit.
Right. It takes you on a bit of a roller coaster, But I like the album.
But Wedding comes after Honeymoon, right?
That's right. Which is almost backwards.
That's intentional, right? So a lot of times, right? You meet somebody, y'all party. Yep. You get it popping. Yeah. The wedding don't always happen. I mean, in this version, it does, but like,
right.
A lot of times, and it's real. Like the honeymoon come first, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it leads to a wedding, and sometimes it don't.
You know what? Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. So what if it didn't? Then it'd be a different song.
Yes, I guess it might be a different song.
Might be a different song. We don't know that part. We don't know that.
I had to balance honeymoon too, right? Even though honeymoon is like. It's all innuendo, right? And it's direct, but it's indirect, right?
But it's fun.
Like you could play that shit on the radio. There's no curses.
I was gonna say yes, like
big facts.
Yeah.
But if your teacher hears you singing that, you know what I mean? They'll be like, "Yo, what are you talking about, little kid?
What are you doing?"
So to balance that energy, like I felt like I needed something that was more romantic, soft energy than just straight like let me beat it up energy and knock it down. So
Right. What's your process for putting albums together? Like, how do you start? Also, I got a refill if you want one.
yeah,
you know,
keep them refills filling.
yeah. How do you start? Like where do you kind of find like the storyline of an album? What's your process?
In the Red was just direct, right? Because I was going through it. I was sitting in my garage, burning it down, writing songs. I was literally calling my friends who are the producers on the project, and they're sending me medicine. It's like how I like to think about it. And I was just putting up those songs. So that capsule came together easily, right? I was already in a groove, right? I was already in an emotional space. I was already in a place where I was writing really personal records, in this almost autobiographical way. So that album like kind of just came out like this is the therapeutic album, but let's also balance it with some light, right? So like soul movement,
right?
That just came in because it's a vibe. Like I was on the beat challenge on EODub judging.
Right.
My brother Carnage played the beat. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like it don't sound like anything I heard.
Yeah.
Send me that. So he sent me something that was almost similar. You know? And that's
dope.
how that happened. So how do I put together the album? So me, it's a lot of listening.
Yeah.
Right. And I try to listen to where the threads are between the songs and the music. And depending on where I'm trying to take you, different combinations of playlists and songs come together, right?
Right.
So the way that I write is I could be writing 4 songs at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I like to be able to move around and change the energy of what I'm working on. You know, if you're working on a deep, like heartfelt song for 2 hours, you're fucking crying. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You got, let me turn that other beat on, that fucking killer beat, and let me write some hard bars.
Right.
So once you start listening to those different catalogs and those pieces of your catalog, you start to see the through lines, right? And then you start putting those playlists together. Like I got 5 playlists I'm listening to, trying to be like, what's feeling like the proper mood for the next shit.
Right.
But then I also got like rollout plans. Like you see me with my color scheme going on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And everything is kind of got a color in that is associated with the mood of it. You know what I mean? And the songs that go on to that should all be feeling like that mood board.
Right.
So
right.
I'm just a moody dude, bro.
Yeah, that's how it is. And you know, like that even kind of plays into the marketing of it, you know, because you are your projects.
Exactly.
You know, what kind of approaches do you take to marketing? Cheers. Yeah.
So for me, it's not marketing, right? It's connecting, right?
Facts. That's what true marketing
and
is.
That's really at the end of the fucking day, bro. People don't want to buy into something. They want to be a part of something or feel connected to something. Right?
That's the thing that everybody has to understand. You should say that one more time.
I'm saying that there is no marketing, right?
Right.
There's connecting to people or not, right? And the way you go about that and the way that you can connect with them is different, right? Some people connect with them through comedy and viral videos and dancing and like that triggers a certain emotion in people, right?
Yeah.
My shit is like, I'm just gonna be authentically myself.
Right.
I'm, a creative artist that works with artists. That's about supporting the art and artistry.
Right.
And the brand is just that. It's just pro. And what I already do. So like, either you're fucking with it, and it feels and you feel it, or you're not.
Right.
But
and
either way, like that helps me to filter out who I really need to connect with.
Right.
You know what I mean? End of the day. So like that's why they're always like, oh, be authentic, be who you are. But then they fuck up and they be like, try to get that across.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's hard to do.
Do the first thing.
Yeah.
Just do you.
It's hard. It's really hard to market sometimes, and you know, I don't want people to take this comment the wrong way. It's really hard to market sometimes if you overthink it.
Yeah.
You know, and by that what I mean is, and I work in marketing for my 9 to 5. And I love what I do, but at the same time, I've seen campaigns go awry when it's like we're trying so hard to think about how people can connect to this other than just being like, hey, this is our product, this is what we're trying to offer, this is our song, you know, this is me as an artist. Like, if you vibe with it, then I'm here with you. You know what I mean? Then you know, we'll be in this together. But if not, then I got you. You know, like, I understand where that kind of like marketing, you know, connecting idea comes from 100%, because not everybody does it so well, so it doesn't feel like connecting.
But it's hard too, bro.
It's very hard. You have to find the right people.
Everybody's an artist right now. Everybody has a product right now.
Everybody has something they're trying to sell.
Everybody's a guru.
Yeah.
Everybody's an entrepreneur.
Or a social justice
Everybody's
warrior.
a public figure.
Lately, everybody's a doctor.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got a brand.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's what they telling you need to go run and do.
Right.
If you got a passion, go do it.
Yeah.
Have a presence.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Be excited about it. Connect.
Yeah.
Get out there. But you got to be outside. That's
you do.
The other thing that I was trying to get across earlier is like,
talk more about that.
Be behind your computer all day on your phone. Get the app. Get the plugin. Look at the statistics. Look at the data. Do the metrics.
Right.
If you don't go outside in person and see people and they don't see you performing,
right,
showcasing your talent,
or even showing love, you know, showing up to the show.
Yo, go to somebody else's shit.
Right.
Just on the strength.
Right.
I don't even like go out to be on some rapper shit.
Yeah.
I would prefer to just, and my family will attest to this.
Yeah.
All the homies will attest to this. I just want to go out and hang out.
Yeah.
They'd be like, bro, let's spit some bars. Let's do a song. I'll be like,
let's just hang tonight.
Let's just have more drinks.
Yeah.
Can we just chill and shit?
Right.
There's a time and place for all that.
Yeah.
But, like, there's something powerful about just being comfortable with, like, we outside, we working, but we not working.
Right.
And the universe is going to align everything for us.
Right.
If our intentions are good and the quality of our product is great.
Yeah.
And I say great because a lot of people do good product. You know what I mean? And then they stop. They don't try and, like, revise, upgrade, make it better. Great.
Right.
Excellent. Revise, make it better. Wonderful.
It's the innovator die kind of thing. Like, you got to continue to improve. Also, Royce the 5'9", Detroit rapper that I really love a lot is, you know, he says, everyone's always talking about the wave, but there's no wave without good art, because, you know, you can own 100% of your art, but if it's not good, you own 100% of nothing.
Nothing.
You know?
Big facts.
Big part of it, right?
And that's to the point, like, yo, In the Red is out. It's great. Love it.
That's fantastic.
Took mad long.
Go listen to that shit.
Go listen to In the Red. You know what I'm saying? Get in your feelings. Get out of your feelings. Dance around. Get back in your feelings. We're going to go everywhere.
That's right.
I'm going to take you on a range of human emotions.
That's right. We'll put a link in the bio of the video and make sure everyone has it.
Yo, the videos. I got music videos that are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the color, the quality of it, the artistry. Like even like the honeymoon video I just did with my brother Jacob.
Right.
The artist on that project is Jimmy Aponte. Jimmy Aponte is an artist that I met in my local community where I live in Jersey. I'm working on a public arts project to bring more public art to the city because I feel like, so one of my things is like exposure. Like the more you can expose people to things, the more you could change them and the more you can expand and grow them, right? So for kids especially, the more positive exposure influence you can put in their life, like 9 out of 10 times they're going to have a much better, more enriched, fulfilled life. So my whole shit was like, yo, let's have public art in my local community. So on that path, I'm like, yo, they're doing, I got a random like flyer, like go to the mall. They're doing this event, you know, some art event. And I'm like, fuck it. So I pack my son up. We go to the mall. Yeah. We go to the event. Yo, 2 of my closest homies that I know in the art, no, 3. Right. I met that day.
No way.
You know what I mean? Randomly.
And that's how it goes, right?
Because I was outside and I was willing to.
And you just meet people in these places. That's how it goes.
Human to human.
Exactly.
Human to human.
100%. From a different project, song called 3 of Hearts. Yes. Which
that's on the album though. That's my single.
It is.
That's one of my singles from the album.
That's right. That's right. But it's an emotional. It's more. Yeah. You wrote an emotional Instagram post about it a little while back. Yeah. And I think you're talking about your daughter, right? You're talking about forgiveness. Yeah. What's the story behind that song? And you know, as much as you want to share or whatever, but this is kind of the part where we're digging a little deeper here.
No, that's fine. And like my shit, like if you heard the song, like like I had a deep falling out with my daughter, we're still not on great terms.
Yeah,
You
I
know
had
what
that song
mean?
on repeat today. But you know why? Because I was kind of feeling what you were saying a little bit. Because everyone goes through something
Right.
like that. Maybe not with their daughter or family, but with someone, you know?
With loss.
You
This
can-
is universal.
Right, that's universal.
And you know, I think I only say a reference that it's my child at one point in the song, but generally it could be a song that could be applied to any, for instance, right?
It could.
Where you have a deep, meaningful relationship with someone and something severs that tie.
Yeah.
There's loss there, right? So everybody knows that there's consequence and weight to every decision that you make in life, period, right? Sometimes you make a decision and you feel good about it and you know like you made a good decision, and like sometimes you make a decision and you know that there's going to be a debt to pay with that decision.
Facts.
And sometimes you measure that against the weight of goodness that it will provide.
Yeah.
In terms of teaching a lesson, right? In terms of grounding, in terms of maybe even splintering and breaking something that you know is just already broken, but you're scared to like make that final leap and say, you know, let's just not fucking do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You understand the weight and the gravity of that shit. If you take time and you're thoughtful about it. Sometimes people just be like, fuck it up, oh, fuck you, I don't care. Ah.
Everyone can fall victim to that, you know?
So I you know, I made a decision about something, you know, and I vocalized it, and it took a long time to make a decision, and I knew the weight and the severity of it to some extent, but I had hope that, you know, over some amount of time it would heal itself. And I think that part of it is healed, but then there's been other fractures,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes chemistry between two people, father, son, daughter, brother, cousin, is just the chemistry between them, right?
Yeah.
I love my daughter. I text her all the time.
Of course.
I hope she responds to me one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I miss her. And I hope that we could heal from it. And the song was just, like I said, I was at the bottom. And it's like I'm looking around at all the things that defined me. Being a parent, being a husband, all the songs, all the things I talk about in I Am, right? Being a worker and a provider.
Who you are.
All of those things are stripped from you.
That's tough.
So what the fuck you do? If I didn't have art, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, you go on, you find a job, you live your life, but like, who do you talk to about that? I guess I talk to the world.
Yeah. that's you know, that's vulnerability. That's really hard to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that I achieved that on the album, and so like
You did.
when you tell me healing is like
I was gonna
a
say
good record for you,
especially with that one. Yeah.
then I know that I painted this picture that got you to this place, that by the time you got to that record, you were like, man, that really fucking, that sums it up.
Absolutely.
I get it now.
Absolutely.
And then you know, you'll listen again and you'll unpack it, and then you'll hear other shit, and like other things will like move you, but like I'm chasing that feeling, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it definitely shows. You know, for those that don't know, actually, we met at the EOW, the Chelsea Music Hall.
Music Hall, yeah.
Yeah, which was incredible. You had a great set right in the beginning. Opened up the show, lots of energy. Your whole live show, I've got to imagine, is dope as hell. I've never seen you do, you know, a show on your own. One day, I hope I get the chance to. But at the same time, talk about your live show. You know what I mean?
That's what we do, though. Like EOW is about the live
showing
show,
up, right?
and like spitting those bars, being tight, having your show fucking go off without a hitch. And even if there's a hitch, you still kill.
It still goes off.
All we do is kill.
Right. Talk about EOW a little bit, just for those who don't know.
Yo, end of the week, eodub.com. We ran the longest running weekly open mic in New York City for about 17 years. We have an international contest called the MC Challenge, which is like the Rap Olympics. I hate to say that in the same breath, but it's our own proprietary competition that we came up with as an alternative to the battle that was invented by my man James Calhoun and my brother Vice Versus. We have now taken that to 15 different countries.
Wow.
We have an international competition every year, and we define who the best MC on the planet is based on that criteria that we set forward.
That's awesome. And the rappers that were there the other night in New York were incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was just like the online version. that fam cooked up in collaboration with the sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
But tap into that community, that end of the week community, that EOW community, because like really what we did is just help foster some of the finest talent in the hip hop game. You know what I mean? For 20 plus years.
It's talented rappers too. For those that don't know who are listening, it's a competition. So it really is like, you know, we're trying to find who's an MC. You know what I mean? Who can really rap? Like there's different. I don't want to call them obstacles. What do you say? They're challenges, right?
Rounds.
They're like
we got different
they're
rounds.
different rounds, right? And it's testing an MC's ability in different areas of rap, but in every case, it's lyricism.
Right, exactly. So you get the written round where you get to rap something that you already got pre-cooked, so people could hear you kind of.
Which actually, surprisingly, that was my least favorite round.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Oh.
Yeah, my favorite round was the one where they had the beat switches. You know why? Because I thought that was the most challenging. Because I used to want to be an artist. I had dreams of being an artist for probably about 7 or 8 years. I still am. That's true. I might not be a rapper, but maybe I'm an artist.
That's a fact. Multidisciplinary.
That's
artist.
Right. That's right. See, it's happening here.
It's going down.
It's happening
we
tonight.
Defined it.
It's happening tonight.
It.
And so, you know, when I was kind of going through all that, like the hardest thing that I could imagine would be like, you know, if the beat slows up and then speeds back up and then it's, you know, it switches and stuff. So that was actually my favorite part.
Yeah, you got to adjust.
Right. You have to adjust and you have to do it right then. You know what I mean? Or those judges, you're a judge, you know?
Yeah, I've judged, you know,
you listen to that.
Of challenges, but we all are judges, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? If
the crowd's kind of the judge, right?
Ultimately,
yeah.
Right? We're all judgmental as fuck.
That's
none of us
so
would
true.
jump on that stage and be like, "Let me try that." Would be like, "Oh, he didn't execute right."
Hip hop's got a lot of judgment, you know. It's all opinionated. You know, who's your favorite rapper? Well, who's your favorite rapper? Well, he can't be your favorite rapper. You know what I mean? Because he's not my favorite rapper. So it's all this stuff. You know what I mean?
That's the community. I can't say
that's
the
fun part.
I don't know if I agree with it because,
really?
like I said,
that's
I'm
the competitive
shit,
spirit.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're about lifting everybody up. You know what I mean?
The shit is subjective. Like my top 5 is not your top 5.
Absolutely.
We don't go to the museum and be like, "Yo, who's your top 3 sculptors?" Yo, oh shit, he ain't shit. Like, please,
right?
That don't happen,
right?
But you know, in this hip hop shit of ours, from the legacy of I guess where we come from, where you want to rank shit and know what's number 1 and do the data.
It's crazy.
That shit is still valid.
Yeah. Wow. Prolific. This conversation, we're getting kind of towards the end here, has been incredible for me, you know, because I love hearing these different perspectives about hip hop. That's why I do this. I just love it so much.
Yeah, fam.
This is my last question for you tonight is, why should people care about Prolific Wone?
Man, that's a great question.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
I know why I care, but
they shouldn't.
Really, why not?
They should be caring about their own lives and improving their state of mind. But
maybe Prolific Wone can help.
If people are looking for music, substance, and content that they could rely on, they could come find Prolific Wone. You know what I mean? Care about yourselves, y'all. Care about your family. Keep them close to you. You know what I'm saying? There's some real fucking troubling type shit going on out here. And if you want something that's going to tap into that and that's going to express some real emotion and has some substance behind it, it's high quality, then fuck with Prolific Wone because it's good for you.
Absolutely.
Life is a balance, man. Focus where your priorities are. And if you need good music, come see me.
Best piece of advice to any artist trying to come up?
Yo, keep going.
Facts.
There's more dark hours than there is bright hours, bro.
The one constant between everybody that's had success and everybody who hasn't is perseverance.
That's a fact. So once you stop, that might have been the day that you could have just got that win.
That's right.
And, like, know how to define your wins. Like, what do you do it for?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, for me, I make the art because I like to be an artist and I like to make art. You know what I mean? If you want to make rap music because you think it's going to save your life and get you out of some situations instead of, I mean, think about other options too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, I just asked, I know I said last question, but I just thought of this. I saw this. It's about perseverance. It's about, you know, it's about keep going. And it's like, you know, a lot of times people give up or they stop because they hear no so many times, you know what I mean? Or they, you know, it's all this rejection. It's all, you know, it's not working. It's not happening, whatever, you know what I mean? But I heard this quote whereas what if you were told that you had to have 100 no's to get the one yes that would launch everything? How quickly would you want to get that first no? What about that second one? What about the 10th? What about the 50th? You'd want to get those 100 no's so fast.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
so that you can get to that yes. So I always kind of try to think of it like that. Like, not that I'm trying to get a bunch of no's, you know what I mean? But like, you know, keep going until
The
you know what
notes
I
are
mean.
powerful,
Until you're
man.
ready for it. Yeah.
Notes are powerful.
Yeah,
And this
that's
is
how
the thing,
that's
is
how
we
you
could dig in
learn.
on that too, because
We
like
could,
losses,
right?
learnings, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All that shit shape and sculpt and mold you. So like by the time that marble statue, that beautiful piece of art is done, like
Right.
it took a lot of chipping to get there. So take the
Absolutely.
chips until you get to be that level.
Yeah, and it's handmade, right? So it didn't come out of a
Facts.
machine, so it takes
Right?
more time
It
that
takes
way.
more time.
Right?
It's
Absolutely.
delicate.
Prolific One. It's been
Facts.
real.
Yo,
It's been
Cypher.
crazy.
We on the Cypher podcast,
This
y'all.
is what it is. Next time you come in, we're gonna have you do a freestyle. We're gonna have to really get it.
We're
Absolutely.
gonna rap. We're gonna do rappity rap.
Yeah.
All that shit, yo. Check out that album In
Some
the Red.
hippity hip hop in this shit.
It's out here. Prolific Wone Art. You know what it is, man.
It's fantastic.
Love and light at all times.
Let's get it. Prolific One Cypher.
Hey.
Let's get it.
Yo, Doug. Eye to eye. Whew.